Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Heroes of Newerth World Cup. Today it is game number 2 between both DRD, DotallyRad.com, as well as SK Gaming. SK Gaming coming out very much ahead in the first game, really put down the hurt here on DRD, forcing game number 2, and that is what we will be watching today. I am Sean, FourCourtJester Delaney with GameReplays.org, and I am here, of course, with Matt Insane Rabbi Levin. How are you doing, sir?
Pretty good. I had a headache for game 1, took some meds. Hopefully I'll be a bit more alert this game, a bit more aware of how everything's going down. But let's go ahead, let's go through the bans and picks. This time we have DRD with first pick, first ban. And they went ahead, they banned Flint, Pharaoh, and Hellbringer, whereas SK bans Tundra, Dr. Repulsor, and Thunderbringer. First pick for DRD was Forsaken Archer. That was responded to with Glacius and Swiftblade. Then we have an Andromeda Voodoo. Then it was Witchslayer and Bubbles, followed by Valkyrie and Pebbles. And to round off the end of SK's roster today, they are going to be picking up the Chipper. So it should be interesting. We are going to have Tri-Lane versus Tri-Lane top. Swiftblade Tri-Lane, it's relatively strong if you don't have the right heroes to counter it. FA, not too bad against it. Voodoo, not too bad against it. Andro, probably the worst hero you could have against a Swiftblade Tri-Lane. But Andromeda, good hero in general, early game. See if she's the one that ends up taking a lot of the damage and a lot of the deaths here. But as for the other lanes, we have Pebbles versus Chipper in mid. That's about a 50-50 in my opinion. And bottom, we have Valkyrie versus Bubbles. Yet again, 50-50, maybe a slight advantage to the Bubbles.
Both heroes in this solo lane do have their escape mechanisms, which is going to make it very hard for either one really to land that kill. Have to come down to a case of being outplayed. But in the mid, with the Chipper and the Pebbles, I mean, Chipper is always a great 1v1 hero, but I don't think he had the tar improvements in this patch. So we're going to have to keep an eye on him, see how they do. Now, with the Glacius and the Swiftblade combination, that was picked at the same round, and overall it is an extremely strong composition. Anything with a slow and that magic immune blade frenzy that Swiftblade has to offer, that is always such an early game strong point for any team running that. So we're going to have to see what DRD does to counter that.
Well, I heard a 400 magic damage nuke at level 1 is pretty strong. Swiftblade coming in here with that spin, and he's trying to do some work. Going to have to back off, though. And this is the one advantage. Oh, look at this nice Forsaken Archer volley of arrows right there. The one advantage you have against a Swiftblade, he's melee, and he has to get up in melee range. This Tri-Lane going up against him is 3 ranged heroes. Therefore, he's only going to be able to spin on one individual hero instead of being able to spin on, 2 or maybe even all 3 of them, as long as they position themselves properly. Now, Pebbles does pick up a haste rune top. This is actually big. Even though he's only level 3, he can do a ton of damage. He does about 400 damage at level 3 right here. I'm surprised he doesn't just go forward and kill Chipper. I think he could, if he plays it right. Ooh, Moon Meander. No rockets! Go! 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 You need to go. You need to pressure with that haste rune. Pebbles. Oh, man, I strongly disagree with just playing back and farming. He can get the kill on that Chipper. He can dive. That's frustrating to watch. I'm sorry. You're going to do 400 damage, and that's not magic. That's total. The stun hits twice, and the toss hits once. You're going to get 2 or 3 auto attacks in. Worst case, if you don't kill the Chipper, you're hasted. You're going to maybe eat 2 tower hits and then back up and pop your flask. So I think he would have been good there. It looks like he elected to play a bit safe, and now Angry Testy playing that Chipper is going to be able to sit back with rockets and do work against this Pebbles mid.
Well, the disadvantage is for the Pebbles. He is melee, so those auto attacks mean it's just the same idea as it is up top. With that ranged hero, it's going to be a little bit harder. He does throw out the rocks now on top of Angry Testy, but no follow-up to it, and that is the big strength here of Pebbles. His one-trick pony combo, and really in the early to mid-game, get himself a portal key, a bottle, and even just Striders, and he will go around one-shotting your squishy heroes, and that is a big strength. That's the main reason that Pebbles is usually picked up in these fights.
Right. Even if he happens to lose his lane, all he needs is striders and a bottle, and this guy can kill almost anything on the map. If you have a beef stick hero, you're not going to be able to kill him, and waiting at bottom rune was Moon Meander. Chipper actually winning the rune guessing war, so he is going to grab that regen top. It spawns every 2 minutes, and, in that case, Pebbles figured, hey, I'm going to go bottom. If it's there, great. If not, so be it. Spinning on top, though, is Andromeda getting caught. And looks like they may... No, they're not going to turn. I thought they might be turning on that Witch Slayer, but Andromeda does go down. Beediz gets the kill on that Glacius, so expect boots. There it is. Now it's going to be a little bit tougher for this Voodoo Jester and Forsaken Archer to CK because Glacius is going to be able to harass a little bit better due to those early boots. And here it is. He's coming in on bottom. Stun comes out, forcing the mana to be used by Voodoo Jester. Aurora goes out, though. And with that armor and attack debuff, you are going to need to back up and play it just a little bit safe.
Yeah, the stun coming out from Voodoo Jester, the cask bouncing around between both Beediz and Cardinal, I mean, that's going to stop them dead in their tracks, and you could just really see the disappointment on Tobacco's face as he saw both his supports were disabled just for that short amount of time, but that is all you need to get well and clear of his deadly range. So, a little disappointing for him, but there will be more opportunities. They already got the first blood here on this Andromeda, and that's going to be a big advantage for this tri-lane simply because, as you said, the boots coming out on Glacius is going to allow him a lot of extra movement speed to set up these kills for the Swiftblade, Tobacco, yeah.
Now, this is the question. That ward that Andromeda just placed, is it going to get countered? It needs to be countered relatively soon here, otherwise you are in a world of hurt. You'll not be able to set up any ganks, and Beat is actually going to run into Voodoo Jester over here, and it looks like the creeps. Let's see where they go. Ice goes out onto Voodoo Jester, and Swift's coming in to spin. Voodoo is going to go down right here. Maybe not. Yep, he is going to go down. I thought he might get out there for a second, and Cardinal is taking a lot of damage. Using that power supply, negative mojo there for a little bit. Oh, Cardinal is going to get out. Swiftblade's also running. Glacius going to get out with those boots. So, you lose that Andromeda early, give him that quick boots. Glacius going to be able to do some work. And Chipper on bottom rune, didn't even see that. Moon Meander ends up being taken out by the Chipper ult. And I believe it was a haste that Chipper picked up, so he's coming in bottom. They're going to try and kill JCP Lord playing that Valkyrie here on bottom.
Oh, what a rocket. Just going to be landing that right there. In goes the bubbles and 2 more quick rockets. That's going to be the end of Valkyrie. Now, Valkyrie is being played by JCP Lord, and really when Moon Meander went down, he should have been able to tell his team, oh, I just died at the rune, there was a haste, and now, hey, look, we got a missing Chipper, but it does not seem to be the case as JCP Lord caught really with his pants down up high in that lane, and that just resulted in another quick kill. So SK is up 4-0, 7 minutes into this game, 2 kills up top, 2 kills up top, 1 on the bottom, and then 1 in the mid. So right now, totally winning all 3 lanes.
And JCP Lord typing out FF, meaning forfeit, for those of you that don't know. Did anyone see that? No, I assume he poured it. No, you know what? Glacius is actually getting caught right here on top, though. And he's going to go down. You cannot overplay against 3 range stunners. You can't do that. Glacius, you may have those boots, but that doesn't mean you can play balls to the wall aggressive. And right now, without Glacius being able to be there with a couple nukes, you got to be careful. Swift, you're not going to be able to overplay, but now phase booting, Chipper coming in, doing work all over Voodoo Jester. He's going to go down. Swift trying to spin onto this Forsaken Archer. Looks like it's going to happen. Is he going to get the kill? No.
Rockets. Not going to happen.
And look at this. Pebbles coming top, getting 1 kill, picking up the 2nd kill on that Swift Blade as well. And lots of action back and forth here on the top lane.
It actually resulted in 2 kills plus Beediz, and that's just not. I mean, the game's not over quite yet. Andromeda's still around, and we just saw Chipper getting tossed by the Pebbles, trying to get him out of the lane. But right now, SK, they do not want to give up this top lane. Now, this big ward over here by Robert Lee from Andromeda, that's just been doing DRD a world of favors at this point, because they can see almost exactly what's going on behind the scenes here, behind this forest.
Absolutely. And, something interesting to note is Pebbles over here, he does not have a power supply. That's an interesting item choice. When your opponent has a spammable spell, such as Chipper with a 50 mana rocket, now that it's max level, it's 85 mana, but it's 50, 65, 75, 85, something like that. Maybe it's 55, 65, 75, 85. Either way, he spams them to CK, spams them to harass, and every time he does that, you can get, mana and HP back if you have that power supply or mana battery. And to see Pebbles without one is interesting. It's a great item on everyone, especially at this point in the game. There have been some updated patches that have nerfed that item a little bit. We do see Forsaken Archer with one, for instance, and it does restore 10 health and 15 mana per charge. So that 15 mana, that's so huge for Pebbles. That's an extra stun or toss after 8 spells have been casted. And we've seen Chipper cast tens, almost 100 rockets already this game so far. So, oh man, that would have just been so much mana and health that Pebbles could have benefited from. I really think his item choice in this was not, the brightest.
Subpar, so to speak.
Subpar, thank you. Jester and your amazing, and here comes a stun actually. Is he going to get the toss? Throwing Chipper back towards the creeps. Would have been a good call if Tar wouldn't have hit, and Pebbles in a world of trouble right now. Angry Testy turning that gank around. I really think he needed to toss Chipper onto himself and then auto the Chipper as best he could, because either you were killing that Chipper or you were getting kited with Tar and rockets to death. So if you commit to trying to kill a Chipper, you have to commit to eating all sorts of burst damage. In that case, he tried to play it off a little fancy and, paid the price for it.
Well, we did talk a little bit about Pebbles and his viability early to mid game after he gets a portal key, simply because he's a squishy hero. 1,000 hit points, sure, he's the top of his lane right now, but his armor coefficients are not exactly the top or the brightest. So when he does go up against a big bursty hero like the Chipper, he always runs the risk. If he can't get the combo off to perfection, then it's just not going to happen. And look at that, down south, Valkyrie going down to Angry Testy, just as Pebbles finally living up a little bit to his name, just insta-gives that Glacius right there. Witch Slayer, he's going to get out okay, but this could be bad for Tobacco. He's being chased by 3 heroes, all with disables, and he still has 13 seconds left on that Blade Frenzy, and look at the toss. Blade Meander coming, look at the level 6 from the Swiftblade, almost taking Robert Lee to the grave with him. Not quite, but well played on both sides right there.
Definitely, Tobacco actually bursting, burst clicking on the phase boots, the Ghost Marcher build, the +9 damage. I forget exactly what they're called. Let me double check right here. The punch daggers. He had normal boots going into the secret shop, and he had Ghost Marchers coming out. So very good quick buy. Almost got him out, but Pebbles with a very heads up play, using the toss as a pseudo blink, tossing Andromeda towards the Swiftblade. And Andromeda then throwing out the stun, chaining your crowd controls onto the Swiftblade, ends up in the kill. So good job there by DRD, realizing, hey, the only way we're catching this guy is if we toss one of our own guys at him. They do that, they get the stuns, and they get the kill. So good heads-up play there by DRD.
That brings the score right now 8-5 in a 12-minute match. So we are keeping fairly constant, a little bit over 1 kill a minute, so to speak. And, with 12 minutes in, this tri-lane up top has remained fairly consistent. We still have the Witch Slayer, the Swiftblade, as well as Glacius up here. But we do have a very sneaky Pebbles in behind the tower, and look at that. Swiftblade knows he was right there, gets his magic immunity off, and Pebbles has nothing he can do right there. A little bit of help coming out from Tralfamador, and that's just going to be a big kill. That's the solo mid hero for the Legion, now out of the running, and just look at the tower damage going down. Angry Testy providing a world of hurt to this tower, and this should be the first tower kill of the game, but no, the glyph comes out, 13 hit points. It will get denied instead.
And that's a great play. That port, that glyph timing, everything was solid there. Action top, though, we do see Cardinal taking down Whack. Bit of an overplay. You can't get caught like that. It's just so much burst. There's so much burst on both teams that really whoever initiates first is most likely going to win. I don't really see much of a counter gank potential on either side. Neither side having a tanky hero, so to speak. And look at this. DRD getting caught again. Trelf using the take cover, although still getting stun tossed to some extent. Silence does hit orb going forward. Swift is spinning, and it looks as though like that is a dead Pebbles. Taking a look at Swift right now, he's sitting at 250 gold per minute. The only one above him on his team would be Angry Testy at 300 gold a minute. But let's take a look at the overall gold of DRD. Nobody over there anywhere close to the gold they should be at.
Well, sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. Yeah, we do have, 253 gold a minute right now on the Forsaken Archer, who's actually been taking bottom now, simply because Valkyrie was almost dead. We do have 2 teleport stones coming down here as well. This is almost for sure a kill on the Forsaken Archer. Not too sure the Pebbles was needed. He will get a little bit of assist gold simply for being nearby. He will grab no credit, but SK definitely staying on top of their game, keeping homecoming stones with them at all times to help out for things like quick kills like this, where you just really don't expect it to occur, and that's just going to further their lead. 12-5 right now, and just a lot of pressure coming down on DRD, as this is game number 2.
Yeah, they lose this one, they're knocked to the losers bracket. No one wants to be there, especially with $40,000 on the line. Sponsored by S2 Games and GoSuGamers.net. I believe SteelSeries has also thrown us some cash and some sweet prizes for this event. So shout out to all the sponsors. Thank you for making the HoN World Cup a possibility. And then, of course, thanks to Cybernetics TV for covering this fantastic event. I think we deserve a little shout out ourselves, wouldn't you say?
Well, we have been at it all day, so to speak, but that's enough about us. This isn't about us. This is about all the great teams and players that are sponsored here in the games. It's just always a pleasure to be watching such fantastic play by top-tier players.
Definitely. Now, Pebbles, let's see, get a gold check on him. He's sitting at 384, so he's on nearest portal key. Valkyrie doesn't have any gold. Same with Voodoo. The only one with any gold is Whack. Let's take a look. He's probably going to be going Shrunken Head here shortly. He's elected to go with the stat build on Forsaken Archer. You have Steam Boots, Power Supply, 2 Soul Scream Rings. I like that build. I really do.
It's a favorite of mine.
It's just good stats. It's solid all around. You have that Power Supply, which is such a great item overall. And yeah, I think it's a great build. I wish more players would use it, but I can't say that I'm not a fan of, Phase Boots into other items or Steam Boots into Frostburn really fast. If you can do a quick Frostburn, go for it. I think it's a great item. But it gives you the stats that the Soul Scream Rings and the Steam Boots would, except on top of the stats, it gives you a slowing orb effect, or what are they called? I forget the exact term.
No, slowing orb
effect.
Attack
Modifier, I believe is what it's called.
Oh, okay.
It gives a slowing attack modifier. Yep. Nevertheless, Pebbles over here running into the illusion of Chipper, although the real one coming in. Nice tar and ult. Rocket's going out, but I think Chipper's going to need to back off right there. An arrow coming in. And it looks like not a whole lot is going to come of that. So a bit of a lull in the ganking action right now.
Well, it is only 17 minutes into the game. I mean, the laning phase arguably is nowhere near complete, and right now, Swiftblade, needs to keep farming as much as he can. He has completed the first of the 3 parts of his runed axe that he does want to be getting himself, so he is kind of confined to lanes, so to speak. The other heroes, not so much. We have lost now 2 of the 3 far towers here by the river for DRD. So we could do a big focus point on this bottom tower, which we may or may not be doing with Tralfamador and Witchslayer both down south, but right now a little bit of pressure in the mid. Valkyrie being played by JCP Lord, he has to just run away a little bit. So right now they're keeping up pressure. They really do want this Tobacco to be doing a lot of free farm as much as he can, and it does look like Moon Meander realizes this, wants to put up some pressure of his own. This may come back to bite him in the ass, but he does have 2 support coming top, and this is going to force the homecoming stones just like you see right now.
Flasking up onto Swiftblade. He's going to be coming around, probably looking for an ult here. The arrow, oh no, this could be bad or very good. And it looks as though Pebbles is going to be running in. Actually, dodges the stun from Witchslayer. Good job by him right there. I thought they were going to initiate in onto that Swiftblade who was going to ult, but Pebbles doing what he can. Voodoo throwing out what he can. Glacius doing some work. 1-4 trade so far with Swift spinning in behind the play. Does get stunned, and all sorts of work being done. SK picking up a couple kills, but Swift does end up going down. And it looks like that was a 2-for-2 trade.
Yeah, I gotta say a little erroneous of the Swiftblade because he went immediately for Pebbles, and Pebbles is the highest hit point hero on DRD's team right now. Could have definitely done a lot better with one of the more squishier heroes. It does look like his team is able to finish it up for him. Pebbles goes down to the combination of all three of the present heroes, including Cardno, who Tralfamador picked that kill up on that Bubbles. But I don't know, it looked very split to me. Like a lot of the different heroes went off in different ways, and so did SK. There wasn't a defined target. It was kind of a jump in there and get him kind of operation that round.
And sometimes it happens. Sometimes team fights end up being 2-on-2 and then 2-on-2 elsewhere, and there's two separate fights going on. Other times it's just a good 4-on-4, 5-on-4, 5-on-5 type situation where it's just boom and everything goes off in one area. Really, the situation just kind of played itself out the way it did. You would like to see better focus fire coming out from both of these teams in the sense that the team fight would be more 4-on-4 as opposed to two separate team fights in different areas. But you got to do what you got to do, and when the situation calls for it, play the team fight correctly. And it's really kind of hard to say with a 2-2 trade and just overall, if one of the sides had played that fight incorrectly or not. And look at this, Whack taking a lot of damage. He's going to go down on bottom. Bubbles used his orb and then his stun to come in and do work, along with Chipper following it up, who does throw out a tar onto Andromeda, although now Voodoo Jester using his ult does get miniaturized by that Witch Slayer almost instantaneously. Bubbles using his orb to get out, and it looks as though that was a 2-for-0 successful gank in favor of SK, securing their lead now to a 7,300 experience lead and a 5,700 gold lead.
Oh, not a good idea there, JCP Lord. Although he does grab the kill on the Swiftblade. Okay, I gotta really take my words back there.
What was it? Was it a bad call there? I don't know, man.
Jumped right in, but there was a Tobacco just waiting to jump on him. At the same time, he was able to clean up both kills. So I eat my words very honestly and very shamedly right here. But down south, it looks like Pebbles was cleaned up. A little bit of a revenge kill there. SK's really got to be a little disbelieving from that top play.
Yeah, JCP Lord is kind of known for his Valkyrie. He plays it a lot, and he's pretty good with it. I think he's a bit overrated personally. But at the same point in time, he plays a good Valkyrie, and knowing the ins and outs of a hero as well as he does, he knew that nuke coming out, it's going to double hit somebody, so I'm going to insta-pop the Glacius, or I'm going to be able to at least kill Swiftblade before Glacius kills me. So worst case scenario, he was getting out of there with Swiftblade dead, and him getting the XP for that. So if Glacius gets the kill, it's not a big deal. It's a support hero. He's not going to gain much from it. A little extra gold is nice and all, but it's nothing too serious. But yeah, just knowing the ins and outs of a hero like that, it is the sign of good players. And I got to hand it to him, man. The fact that he was able to man up and go in on a Swiftblade and a Glacius and still get the double kill is just a great job by him. So hopefully we see more plays like that coming out from JCP Lord. If we do, expect to see DRD easily making a comeback here in Game 2.
Well, I'll say that they've done a successful job of at least delaying the Runed Axe coming out here for Swiftblade. We just hit the 22-minute mark, so it should be in and around this type of area, but it's just not here yet. Chipper is the angry focus right now, but he does look like he's going to be channeling his rage. Takes out JCP Lord, so no critical plays for him right there, but it does look like Moon Meander was able to pick up the kill there on Chipper. Right now, Tralfamador, he's going on a legendary streak, but he also has 3 very angry Legionnaires behind him. So he's going to try to get out of this one. Probably going to be doing a little bit of fancy pants. There we go. The Shell Surf as well as the Take Cover, just ensuring that he's going to get out. This is the reason why these heroes are picked for their solo capacity, simply because of their stubbornness and their will to live. It's just not that easy to take one of them down. It does look like Cardinal is, I don't know, he wants to make a stand up against Whack here, and with the help of Tralfamador, he will indeed. In comes Moon Meander again, not going to be hitting anything with that Avalanche, but this Pebbles, he really wants this Bubbles dead. In comes B-Diz. That's going to be a lot of damage now going on Pebbles, and we're not going to be letting him get away. Bubbles going really on the offensive here as well. Going to try to get this Voodoo Jester. Incorrectly guessed where he went, using the Fog of War. Dagius did a great job getting out of that one, and I'm not too sure when Tobacco came down here, but overall a very overwhelming display from SK Gaming in that fight.
Absolutely. And Bubbles, MVP, not just because of his hero kills, but his understanding of the game, his positioning, everything is just fantastic. And there it is, Portal Key on Bubbles. That is the way you play Bubbles, and I'm excited. He's played a fantastic Bubbles so far in this game. Hits amazing orbs, good silences, knows when to ult, knows how to ult, and he's doing just an overall great job. And now with this Portal Key, oh man, I think he's about to get real dirty up in this game.
Not too sure. Dirty is the word I'd put it
Dirty?
for, but I understand what you're saying.
That's console speak, sir. I apologize. If something is dirty, that means it was done extremely well. It was. You'll see. You'll hear it. I'm sorry. I use slang a little bit. My bad.
No worries. I knew exactly what you meant. Just not the terminology I would have personally used, me being a little bit my politeness, the Canadian aspect coming out. But you are correct with the Portal Key aspect of him. That's just going to make him twice as hard to kill now with 2 escape mechanisms. And Portal Key really does synergize very well with that take cover, because take cover, its length of time that it keeps you out of combat and negates all damage. It's actually going to allow that Portal Key to refresh, and then straight out of that you can just use it no matter how many heroes are around you. So overall, an excellent pickup for any Bubbles character.
Right, and it does look, there are some things going on top. I don't know what they're really looking to do right now. Swiftblade, he does have that Runed Axe, and in a sense, that's kind of when he's the weakest that he's going to be for the rest of the game. Runed Axe is an item you get when you're looking to farm, and you're looking to farm hard. Well, all it really does for a team fight, yes, it gives you that AoE splash damage, but that's not that big of a deal. And then it gives you 65 auto attack damage. So, for when it comes to team fights, Runed Axe on these melee heroes, it's okay, but it's really designed for farming. And as you can see, he's sitting there burning down stacks in the jungle remarkably fast thanks to that Runed Axe. And that's what he's supposed to do. So now that he can start power farming, 10, 12, 15, 20 minutes from now, the amount of gold he invested in Runed Axe is going to pay for itself. But for the next 5 minutes before he gets another big item besides his Hungry Spirit, he's actually quite weak because he doesn't have any extra survivability. He doesn't have any escape mechanism or anything like that. He just sits there and hits a little bit harder. So all of that gold invested into that item, I'm not saying it's bad, but I will say that he needs to use it and farm, and the rest of his team needs to play knowing that there's just going to be a farm going on for the next 10 minutes for Swiftblade.
Cardinal down south has been keeping himself busy. He did find Dagius out and about, and a silver bullet with his name on it nabbed him another kill. 23-10 now the score for SK Gaming, and there's really nothing that Whack could have done to catch him at that point. Now I'm just looking at Whack. He has himself a mighty blade, so he is going to be trying to pick up a very quick. Well, I guess it's not that super quick. We are 26 minutes into this game, but his next big item for his stat build looks to be that Shrunken Head would be my guess. It might very well be the Frostburn, but at this point the Shrunken Head is my bet. Pebbles, however, is going to be helping to take out Tralfamador. JCP Lord kills Tralfamador, and now a consolation prize of Glacius coming in as well. In this top lane, however, Angry Testy is not going to be grabbing that kill. Cardinal is going to be grabbing the kill there on JCP Lord, as he kind of just ran right into that, but I don't know. The turtle went down, and now the hurt is coming in, as he did buy back for that, and that's going to be 3 dead DRD, likely another tower, and maybe even Whack.
Yeah, and the buyback right there, I know he was buying back trying to save that tower, but you got to realize the situation. That buyback was a waste of money. He's not even going to be gaining experience out of this. It was kind of a mistake. Oh well. Happens, you want to buy back, you're scared they're going to push really hard, and then they're like, we don't feel like pushing. So they just take that first tower, they don't try and push racks or anything funky like that. So I think it was a smarter play by SK. They probably noticed the buyback as soon as it was there. So, the buyback, if you're like, hey, it saved the base tower, it was worth it, maybe, but I don't think they were going to be able to push that base tower before Forsaken Archer had spawned. So we'll see how it plays out. He is getting a little bit of farm right now. Witch Slayer over here, mana draining creeps. I love the fact that mana drain does not wake up creeps. What do you think of that one, Sean?
Well, I don't know. If you're draining my mana, usually there should be some kind of tingly sensation to go with that. I would have waken up
Usually,
myself,
man.
but I don't know. I don't live in the universe of Heroes of New Earth. I live here on planet Earth, unfortunately. So I
Right?
really can't say. I mean, maybe creeps, maybe they don't feel it the same way we do. Who knows?
Well, all I know is the last time I had someone drain my mana, it was no good. I fainted. It's scary. I don't really like it that much, but hey, what can you do, you know?
Did you wake up?
I did.
Okay.
I did shortly after.
To put it
uh,
your way, what they just did down here, Team SK, on those triple stacked creeps, that was dirty.
that was dirty. They so came in and look at this stun toss going on Swiftblade, and Pebbles needs to be very careful right here. The ult coming out, and it does not matter. Tobacco doing work. And look at this. Bubbles actually going in right here. Nice ult coming out. They need an anti-war if they want to fight this. And tableting himself right over into Bubbles was Trout, although he's going to get out. He should be okay. FA blowing Shurikenhead doing what he can. And they are chasing this Witch Slayer down. I think they're probably going to have it. Nice body block there by Pebbles using the P key. If you'll notice, he didn't have 120 mana for toss or stun, so instead, the 80 mana he has 75 to blink in front of Witch Slayer, and then move back and forth left and right while Witch Slayer's trying to go forward, and it blocks him from moving forward. So, good heads-up play there by DRD. And really, I think it was a bit of an overplay there by SK.
Well, it looked like it was big into their advantage until the Andromeda swap came out and saved Moon Meander's life, and that really that forced the use of the Swiftblade ultimate, because he did put that down on the Pebbles, and unfortunately when you get swapped by that Andromeda, you don't follow him. So it kind of did waste the ult, and then knowing that, DRD kind of said, alright, we'll man up and go do this, and then Bubbles just jumps right into them. So it was almost handed to them in that regard. It was just a series of opportunities that happened to go their way.
Now, we do have a Hungry Spirit, which is an attack modifier, and Frostburn, which I thought was an attack modifier. At this point in time, it is not. This has been changed recently. This game is a little bit old, but if you take a look, it is not an attack modifier, so he's going to get Helm of the Dominator, Whispering Helm, excuse me. He's going to be getting Whispering Helm here as his attack modifier. I apologize. These games, they do take place over the course of a month or so, so there have been some changes that have occurred within the game, and this is a pretty significant one. So in this case, Swiftblade will be able to get both of these items, and they both will work as effectively as they can.
Well, this is still HoN 1.0. Well, not 1.0, but 1.x. Whereas at the very beginning of the HoN Cup, which I do believe launched back in, July, August or so of
Right.
2010, and now we're in here, January 2011. We've actually seen major changes throughout the game in this terms of HoN 2.0. A lot of new heroes introduced, new item tweaks, new items in general. So it has become a whole different beast. It's almost like looking upon ancient footage in these games.
I heard that silent movies are good to go back to because it forced character animations as opposed to all this other stuff we can do nowadays with special effects and such.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the same thing, It's like the entire way we entertain ourselves using Heroes of New Earth is different, I guess. Nevertheless, we do see Kongor being taken down here by Team SK. They are using Swiftblade illusions and relatively good wards. Actually, I take it back. Those are all DRD wards. That is a bit interesting. They have reasonably good wards to make sure they can do Kongor safely, but not as many as I had thought. Also, instead of Helm of the Dominator, Whispering Helm, Swiftblade has elected to go with the Abyssal Skull. It's a bit more team-oriented. It gives out some cool auras to the rest of his team, but it's not as good when it comes to the amount of lifesteal and when it comes to the amount of lifesteal it gives and what it can potentially go into. Whispering Helm, as you know, goes into Symbol of Rage, which is arguably the best item for carries to have. 150% lifesteal for 2.5 or 3.5 seconds means you hit people twice and you go from almost dead to full HP. So, Symbol of Rage, usually what people want to get, in this case electing to get the Abyssal Skull before any other form of lifesteal. And it should work out just fine because it will give a nice armor aura and a base damage aura and a lifesteal aura to the rest of his team.
Well, that's more the strength here with the Abyssal Skull, simply because more damage, more armor, and theoretically more damage helps you kill faster, more armor helps you live just a little bit, and the mana regeneration on a Swiftblade, it's nice. It's not needed, but it's nice. I'm just hovering over the Frostburn tooltip. It's actually now reverted back to the HoN 1.x, and it does say it is an attack modifier, which is why he cannot go to that Symbol of Rage. But up top, it does look like that JCP Lord got caught and really destroyed between both Angry Testy and Trafalmador. So not too sure what happened there. Were you watching?
Yeah, it was JCP Lord tried to leap out, just got caught by a couple stuns, couple crowd controls, and Chipper with his ult and rockets, and it was all sorts of a mess down there. It was pretty brutal. You're right though. That is a bit odd that the replay would then change. All right, and it does look as though Witchslayer and Glacius chasing down this Pebbles, who's already thrown a stun. Good job by Robert Lee to actually get his Pebbles out of the fight, but unfortunately, it looks as though Pebbles is going to take a death here anyways, and Tobacco is just too fed. This guy, he's got that Abyssal Skull, he's got the Frostburn, you can't get away from him. If you try and fight, he's going to lifesteal, so he's going to get all that health back from all the damage he's doing. Things are not looking good for DRD right here.
Well, with a 31-14 score and 4 of their 5 heroes dead, the only hero right now alive is Whack, and he just took a top lane tower. He's going to come back to town. Not too sure what the point is at this point. Should have kept pushing, at least in my opinion. But we do have the Valkyrie back up in town. We do have Robert Lee up again as well. But with this tower now gone and the Raxes, this is just going to be another thorn in DRD's side as they have to deal with, well, Team SK, and just really, I don't think Robert Lee has what it takes to go 1 versus 5, especially as an Andromeda. But with the Swiftblade, I mean, you mentioned he is fed, and that's simply because of the snowball effect, stacking those creeps, getting those jungle kills, all comes back to buying that Runed Axe. He wouldn't have been able to farm nearly as quick without it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just so odd that the attack modifier shows up now, although it didn't earlier. You know what I mean? Like, that bugs me. Oh, well.
Well, I've played Swiftblade in my time, and I do remember those two items, they don't stack. They might now, but they definitely didn't in the 1.x days.
Yeah. Nevertheless, we do see JCP Lord. He looks like he's going to be going for a Null Stone. As for Forsaken Archer, Geometer's Bane and Shrunken Head is finished. Voodoo, not a whole lot of items. And Andromeda, not a whole lot of items. Pebbles has that Blessed Orb right now, but really, it's not going to be anything too great for his burst potential. Trouf sitting here with Portal Key and Tablet. Chipper with Staff of the Master and Tablet himself. Tobacco, Token, Frostburn, and Runed Axe, along with Abyssal Skull. Witchslayer does have the all-important Portal Key now, so Witchslayer is going to be able to initiate, and then Glacius, Wards, and Striders. So good support there coming out from him. And look at Trouf doing work on JCP Lord in mid. Rockets going out though. Wow, I thought for a second there. Up, trying to leap away, hoping that the kelp field would go down as he leapt away. Unfortunately, he leapt just a split second too soon, so it stunned him. And as it stunned him, the ult comes out from Chipper for the kill. So, man, that's a tough break if you're DRD, especially if you're JCP Lord, because I thought he timed that right. I thought he was going to get out of there just fine, but looks like instead we're going to see a 4-on-5 team fight here at the base tower as opposed to a 5-on-5.
I'm not even sure it's going to be a 4v5 at this point. I mean, Forsaken Archer is taking her time to get down here, and even when they do get down here, this tower is more than likely going to be gone at this point. Swiftblade has gotten himself a Dancing Blade. 25 agility is nothing to sneeze at on an agility hero. That's attack speed, that's armor, that's damage, and just look at his attack speed. He's just flying through these hit point values at this point. So we do have all 5 SK in this bottom lane, and Pebbles finally wants to jump in there. Moon Meander's going to try his best, but just controlled to death, so to speak. And right now, even the ultimate coming out of Swiftblade is just going to destroy their entire team. That really should have been a genocide. JCP Lord really coming up in time, but at this point, there's really nothing DRD can do.
And it looks like we are going to see the concede vote. Nice 5-second error on Tobacco, but it's not going to be a big deal. And there's the concede. So, grats to SK Gaming, man. They showed us a couple of really good games. DRD, I don't know what it is. I've seen them play better than they did today, so maybe they're rattled, maybe they're nervous. It's got to be something, but hopefully they can get it together, come through the losers bracket, and, play like the champs we know they can play like.
Well, they did finish up top 8 of the winners bracket, and that is nothing to sneeze at. So congratulations to both teams, but SK will be moving on here in the winners bracket.
Round of 4, yep. All right, guys. Well, there is, I believe, one more round of 8 games, set of games to cast, so we're going to go ahead and get those done as soon as possible. Check them out on the VODs inside this amazing bracket system. Shout out to Sean for developing the bracket system you guys are using with these VODs. He's the guy that custom created it all, so send him your thanks. And definitely click on the last round of 8 match. We will have that for you here coming up next. And yeah, so thanks for tuning in to Cybernetics TV for total esports coverage.